Spanish philosopher Ortega y Gasset once said something paradoxical. Truly modern art is art that is not art, and this must be our point of departure if we intend today to create and enjoy genuine art. To explain this, let's turn to a metaphor. Imagine the entire history of art as a boxing ring. At all times, even now, a fierce match is going on in that ring. The contenders, the reigning champion, an old and seasoned boxer, art of the past, and his opponent, a small, cocky teenager, art of the future. The kid isn't strong, but he is furious. Round after round, the seasoned boxer knocks out the young challenger, but eventually the kid wins. Age takes its toll and the new champion rises, less powerful but younger. Artists, artistic schools, and ideas have been knocking each other out throughout art history. The new is always measured against traditional. Depending on the current reigning tradition, each artist chooses their form of rebellion. As art historian Sir J. Tenniel noted in his book Painting of the Classical Era, Poussin's rebellion was excessive conservatism, a move backward. Caravaggio's was raw naturalism, a leap forward, but both were reacting to the champion of their time. If you want a proof, walk through a museum in chronological order. You will see what Ortega y Gasset meant when he wrote in his work, One Point of View in the Arts. In the museum, we find the lacquered corpse of an evolution. But what the purpose of this endless fight to avoid becoming what Ortega y Gasset called an archaeological fact, a mere historical artifact? A living interest in painting of the past centuries has always depended on a new style, derived from the past. This new style gives it fresh meaning. Look at the Renaissance. Its brilliance lies in its rebellion against medieval art and also in its eventual surrender to the Baroque. Even Giotto, father of the Renaissance, matters to us because someone challenged him, and then the challenger was challenged, and so on, all the way back to Paleolithic. To continue this chain, the modern artist has to be really creative. They can't repeat old rebellions. They can't wage war with the used tools. If they do, their rebellion turns reactionary. So what to do? Deny art itself to save it. That's what Ortega y Gasset meant when he said that truly new art must reject art. Vladimir Vedler, literary critic and philosopher, wrote in his work The Dying of Art, the deepest truths of religion and ethics, only by losing one's soul cannot be saved, is the essential condition of creativity and the ultimate law of art. Or, as German philosopher Hans Sedlmayr put it, even the denial of spirit is a creative act of the spirit. When art was young, rebellion was easy, the playing field was wide open, idea space was rich, the Renaissance was bursting with rebels, Botticelli, Raphael, Michelangelo, Titian, Correggio. But by the 18th and 19th centuries, art had mapped much of its terrain, their continents were discovered. So artists turned backward. Instead of innovation, they preserved the methods of the old masters, David, Mengs, Couture, classicists, and academicians. No rebellion, just repetition. Meanwhile, culture itself became vulgarized. Even goodness became unbearably tacky, Sedlmayr exclaimed, adding that the banality of goodness provokes a craving for sharper, deeper, more passionate evil. By evil he means new artistic movements. Art has reached a dead end. Retreating meant kitsch, as Ortega y Gasset put it. We now meet clever men who want nothing less than to be classical. Wanting to be classical is like wanting to fight in the 30 Years' War. To go forward means to fall off a cliff once the boundaries of art had been reached. Rebellion became nearly impossible, so how do you beat the champion if you can't find him head-on? Answer: don't fight at all. Dodge, run, exhaust him, then strike. All past art is realistic, not in terms of mimicking reality, but in its humanism. Art has always been about people, it has always been anthropocentric. Sometimes art moved away from humanism, medieval, Gothic, sometimes toward it, Renaissance, Baroque, but the human was always at its core. Modern artists realized this, so they ran from humanity and thus from art itself. Impressionists were the first runners. They abandoned human stories, blurred human vision, and treated people as color blobs. The public was outraged. Then came the avalanche: post-impressionism, pointillism, fauvism, cubism, expressionism, futurism, Dadaism, one ism after another, fleeing from human-centered art. Ortega y Gasset named this movement the dehumanization of art. Sedlmayr shared this opinion. The process of dehumanization is aimed, consciously or not only at the humanist image of man, but at man himself. Dehumanization takes many forms. Look at any modern rebel and you will feel it. Humanity is no longer their focus. Sedlmayr identifies two key paths. The first, destruction of human relation to the world. As Ortega y Gasset wrote, the artist burned the bridges that led to the familiar world. We are left facing objects we can relate to humanly. Consider Dadaists, where we'd say how beautiful they grunt or scream nonsense like Kadi Berry Bimba. Fauvists did it too. Their wild colors and flat shapes blinded the viewer. The world looked savage, seen through animal, bloodshot eyes. The second, deconstruction of the human figure. In the Renaissance, Baroque, and 19th century, man ruled the canvas. Then came obliteration, dismemberment, deconstruction. Picasso's cubism, Duchamp's nude descending a staircase. Even today's performance art reduces man to concept or material. Remember our boxers. The young fighter refused to play fair. He ran, tired out the champ, then landed the final blow. The crowd cheers. The new champion holds up the belt. Then he pulls out a gun and shoots himself in the head. I built this metaphor deliberately. It revealed the paradox of modern art. To survive, it must destroy itself, but as Wedley said, you don't recover from death. You can't revive art by denying its essence, its humanity. As Sedlmayr warns, you may lean over the abyss, but if you fall, you lose your soul and arts. Even Ortega y Gasset, usually optimistic about modern art, pauses to admit perhaps the aesthetic value of modern art is quite small, and so modern art is doomed to rebel against the past, only to self-destruct after victory. Can you build anything lasting on nihilism? Sedlmayr didn't think so. Art history, he believed, must end in suicide. Whoever accepts the logic of modern art must, step by step, arrive at the same end as the modern artist, destroying art in the name of reviving it.